Welcome back to Big Movie Mouth Off, the podcast where three Salt Lake City-based critics get bratty about film. I'm Jeff Counts.
I'm Brooks Bird.
And I'm Adam McDonald.
This is episode 49. It means the next episode is special. You two have no idea what comes after 49. You're too young, but I know. And
Yeah, it's
this is a big
48.
deal.
Hey, I'm
No,
not that far off.
you guys are counting in the wrong direction. I know you think that's how it works.
Not
Trust
to
me,
spoil it,
it's
but I'm
not.
only 4 years away.
Yeah, we'll just Benjamin Button this thing. So
Yeah,
That's
well,
right.
we'll have to do something special for episode 50. We'll talk about that later. Right now, though, we're in episode 49. We're going to do two films. One is Good Luck, Have Fun, Don't Die by Gore Verbinski, starring Sam Rockwell. And then we'll review the latest Dracula movie. I had no idea that the world needed another Dracula movie. Well, I'm not so sure it did, but we'll get to
no.
that later. This movie is by Luc Besson. I mentioned those two directors because our guilty pleasure on this episode is bad movies that we love by forgotten directors. And I would say that both Gore Verbinski and Luc Besson are a little bit forgotten these days. They haven't
Yeah.
done much lately. So we're going to talk about that as a concept for our guilty pleasure. After that, we'll do our coming attractions as per normal. But let's get right into Good Luck, Have Fun, Don't Die. Adam will take us through this very interesting plot. But before he does so, here's some of the trailer.
I traveled here today to tell you that things do not go well for you in the future.
But tonight we got a shot. There's a perfect configuration of people in this diner that can save humanity.
What happens if we fail?
I really don't like to say it out loud. It's kind of a morale killer.
Okay, Adam, make sense of this.
So much like the trailer for this, like we just listened to, this is kind of bonkers. So it's directed by Gore Verbinski, who we know from the Pirates of the Caribbean movies. We all love those, for better or for worse. They're still fun. Sam Rockwell stars as this man. He crashes into a diner in Los Angeles saying, "Hey, I am from the future. I'm here to stop an AI from taking over. This is my 117th attempt, and all of you people are going to help me, but some of you will make it and some won't." Of course, the problem is we can't really tell if he's from the future or if he's just a crazy homeless man, because he could be either. We don't know. That's part of the fun. And then what splits off is some vignettes showing how these people at the diner got there, gives us some of their backstories, and then wackiness and some of the darkest humor you have ever seen in your life ensue.
Thankfully.
The first thing I'll say is that this had to be Sam Rockwell.
Oh, totally.
I'm not
Oh,
sure.
yeah.
I'm not sure anyone else could have done it as well. It is so much his movie. He's perfect from minute one. The second he burst into that diner, it's so obvious
yeah.
that he is about to take us by the hands through this incredibly strange journey. I have called this movie, and I don't want to give too much away about the plot because you need to experience it in real time.
Oh, yeah.
But I've sort of called it this year's Everything Everywhere All at Once. Am I wrong, Brooks?
I mean, if you were looking for something close, that's about as close as you could get because it's just completely bonkers from start to finish, but makes sense in its own right and sticks to its own rules. It never really missteps or breaks any of them. And you might think it is, but everything has a purpose.
You're so right, Brooks, because when I drew the comparison between this movie and that movie, I wasn't trying to say that the plots are anything alike. They're really not. It's the bonkers quality that you talked about. That's what I'm referencing here. The fact that you really never know where you are or when you are or why you are or any of it. It's really well put together and well executed. Do you agree, Adam, that this movie sticks to its own rules? Because one of the things we often talk about is when you don't read your own brief.
Oh yeah, it builds this world and sticks to it and makes it this. It's almost weird because it's a crazy out there world, but one that you see could be adjacent to ours. So that's very much going back to the everything everywhere all at once. Is yeah, there's multiple universes and things are a little bit different. So in this hand we've got long fingers, and in this hand we all speak Chinese or whatever else. And the idea of time travel movies are always interesting because there's always the risk of a paradox. You know, a movie like Looper is a perfect example of one that covered the paradox issue perfectly and like wrapped it up in a little box, put a bow on it, and said, "Here you go." And yes, there are three timelines in that movie. Different conversation. And then as much as I love like Back to the Future, you still get those paradox issues because they just say this is just a laugh out loud fun movie. This one kind of feels like a mix of Looper and Back to the Future in the sense that, yeah, it's bonkers, laugh out fun, and interesting to see where things go, and going back and forth to fix the past and learn from things. And then it skips ahead though and shows you the future, what's going on or could be going on in this guy's head, who knows. The rules it makes, it sticks to it. There are some weird things out there, don't get me wrong. Like there's a cat, I'm not going to say more than that, that you're kind of like, what is going on? But in the sense that it's a time travel, almost Ready Player One type-ish movie, because AI
That's
does play a
another
big
one.
part in this, and it is a very cautionary tale against AI or for AI, depending how you use it, kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's like fire. Is it a good tool or a bad tool? It just depends how it's being used. So I don't think I want to live in this world ever, but I could see it becoming our world in the next 20 years if we're not careful.
We have to be careful about the comparisons here because I made one and you just made one, Adam. And this movie is almost as good as Everything Everywhere All at Once and way better than Ready Player One, in my opinion. I'm glad you referenced Back to the Future. That's for our friend Jimmy, of course.
Yes, of course.
And I'm glad because one of the things that I talk about often on this show over the last 49 episodes is the difference between funny and silly. And Back to the Future understands that. It's funny without being silly. Even though looking back on it, it might seem a little antique. I think that movie gets the comedy right. This one does too, Brooks. This movie is funny. It's not ridiculous. Even though some of the setups are unimaginably crazy, it's just funny, like genuinely so.
Yeah, they never set anything up to be basically just a punchline. Everything, like I said earlier, serves a purpose. If something happens, it's for a reason. And some of it comes back around as kind of a punchline because it should. If something happens earlier in the movie, you think to yourself, okay, well, this has to happen later. And it does, which is another way that movies break their own rules all the time. It's the smoking gun thing that you bring up all the time, is that, if something happens, you better do something with it.
Since we're comparing this to so many other movies, I'm just going to throw another one in there because there's another thing I think this movie does so well, and it's that it doesn't rely too much on technology. It's low
Yeah.
tech in terms of the way it's made as a film, but it's also low tech in the way that the future is depicted. I'll give you an example of when a movie has done the opposite. We've brought it up on this show many times. Usually it's to pick on Eddie Redmayne, but we're talking about Jupiter Rising. Sorry, Jupiter Ascending. Isn't that what it's
Oh,
called?
okay.
Thank you.
Yeah.
There we go. Yeah, I was like, do we have to do a reshoot?
No,
now.
no reshoots for that, certainly. But anyways, the
No
tech
one
in
would
that
care.
movie is really high level. It's very flashy, very impressive, but that movie has zero human blood in it. There's just nothing that makes you like a single person in it. This movie is all about the people. So much so that I couldn't believe when they do the camera walkthrough of the diner at the beginning. Usually when that happens, you think, oh, there's a famous person. There's a famous person. There's another famous person. I know who the core cast of this film is going to be. They don't linger on anyone long enough for you to see any of those faces. When Zazie Beetz turns around to the camera at one point, I thought, was she sitting there the whole time? I didn't even notice that.
Yeah, they don't set up
It was
anything like
so
that.
well done because the cast is incredible. Did you guys both like the way it ended? We're not going to talk about how it ended, but were you satisfied at the end?
Yes, I will say I was very satisfied because it leaves you hanging literally up until the moment the credits roll, and it was very reminiscent of the last scene of Inception. And I'll leave it at that.
I was
Very true.
satisfied too. There were some things that I saw coming, a couple things
Yes.
that I did
Yeah.
not, and I was fine with both.
I feel the same way. Like I said, everything it leads up to makes sense in the end, and things that happen along the way finally make sense in the end. And I thought to myself, I wonder if this was not written backwards, but they definitely had to have had Matthew
Interesting.
Robinson, by the way, who wrote it, had to have had the ending figured out at some point before he really got into the meat of it, which
Yeah.
actually is what surprises me the most about the movie. If anyone who watches the trailer, they'll be probably blindsided by some of the, I guess, are they flashbacks? Do they count as flashbacks?
It's kind of like their origin stories in a
Yeah,
sense.
the character
Yeah.
stories. I was kind of blindsided by that. I didn't know that was going to be part of the plot. And again, it comes completely into play with everything that happens through the movie.
You just mentioned something so important, Brooks. We talk all the time about how a trailer can ruin a film watching experience. And you might think watching the trailer that you know what you're about to get into, that you've got the whole package, because it does give you a pretty good primer on what you're about to see. But trust me, you don't
Yeah.
know everything. There's
No.
more to it than the trailer gives you. It's one of the best calibrated trailers I've seen in a while because this movie needed something because it didn't get a huge advertising budget. So it wasn't like everywhere the way it should be, in my opinion. So
Yeah.
definitely
The
trust your instincts. If it seems interesting to you, jump in.
the only way I heard about this was I think someone had it popped up on YouTube as
It,
like, hey, here's a movie coming
it
out.
was my coming attraction
Yeah, I mean, it was your coming attraction too, but I
as
mean,
well. Yeah.
around then, so you watch the trailer and you're like, what the heck is this? What
It
is
kind of
going
looks like
on here?
Y2K.
It does, yeah. It looks like A24 Y2K movie or something like that. And then when you actually sit down and watch it, like, yeah, there are a lot of those moments. Of course, all the moments are in the movie,
Yeah.
but that's not what it's about. Like, yeah,
Mm-mm.
there's guns and fighting and monsters and robots and all that stuff, and they're all in there. But at the end, it is a very human movie. And again,
Very
you
much.
just go back to that
Yep.
dichotomy of artificial intelligence and technology versus humans.
Yep.
And there's a joke in there where a woman's being consoled, and the joke they make is so inappropriate and so dark.
Should be.
I couldn't stop talking about it. In fact, I'm right now at work. I'm getting in trouble because I keep on saying "good luck, have fun, don't die" when I'm like talking to people. So it's one that sticks in your head and is always going to stay there. And deep as you want to go as far as mining themes and what the movie's actually about, or anything about it that applies to life, like it's there for you. Or you can just have a fun ride and watch
Yeah.
all kinds of crazy crap happen on the screen.
You can do either one. And let's not forget to mention top 3 film title for the year. And it's only
Oh,
February.
easily.
All right, let's do scores. Brooks, you saw it most recently, so you have the freshest opinion.
I think, like I was telling you before we started, I watched it under kind of weird circumstances, and I wish I had seen it in a theater because it would just be the ride of the year so far, at least. And one thing I was gonna bring up and mention to you is I don't know if you noticed, but the one character who makes a big life decision, and then at the end of the movie, with how it plays out, was played by Tom Taylor, who also is Jake from The Dark Tower.
I know.
And I was like, this feels a little similar. I wonder if that's why he was cast.
I wonder.
Because I was like, if you're going to have anyone play in this role, he's so perfect.
It's the easiest way to get Brooks and I to love your movie is to just a little
Have a Dark
dash
Tower
of Dark
reference.
Tower. Yep.
We don't even want Stephen King. We want
Nope.
Dark Tower specifically.
Yep.
And I feel like I got it. I feel like he's a big fan of the series with some of the things that happen in this. And then the rest of the cast, I mean, Rockwell is Rockwell. He can do whatever he wants. Haley Lou Richardson, she's always fun.
Really
and
good.
Puts in great performances. And then Pina and Zazie Beetz, I guess. Oh, and Juno Temple, she's great. The only thing I guess I could knock it for maybe as far as at least with the script and maybe the casting, kind of have a feeling who may die first. Because he says a little, some of them won't make it. You know immediately who he's talking about.
It's
But it's
true.
all because of the casting.
But that
But-
moment's funny, Brooks. It's not
Exactly.
silly. It's funny.
It's kind of an inside joke
It is.
in a way when you look at the cast and who's standing there when he says it. But yeah, the special effects, it was a $20 million budget. You can't expect, ILM to come in and clean everything up for them. And it looks great for what it is. And Verbinski's known for making a lot out of nothing. I mean, he started with Mouse Hunt, for crying out loud,
Mhm.
which is still one of the best kids' movies, period. It's amazing. It's hilarious. But now I'm just rambling on about how amazing everything is. And I was thinking of maybe not doing it, but I think I'm going to have to go with 4.
4. Okay.
It's like I said, if I had seen this in a theater, I absolutely would be concrete 4. So I have to go with it.
Your score rundown just now was a journey, and I enjoyed it very much because I think it's the freshest on your mind, and I'm loving how excited you are about it. So 4 stars for Brooks. Where are you, Adam?
So we would be remiss not to point out that we mentioned Gore Verbinski did all the Pirates of the Caribbeans. He also did Counts' favorite movie, The Lone Ranger. So we got to make sure we throw that in
We
there.
can't forget The Weatherman. That was also a very dark
Oh
comedy.
my God. He's only throwing that in because of my run of
But yes.
canceled stars. that
Yes,
I-
you're canceled.
You
You're
and your
canceled movies.
guilty pleasure.
I think with me too, it's like, so I'm at 3.5. I absolutely loved every second of it. I think if I would have been in the theater, it would have enhanced that experience, like Brooks was saying, and maybe it would have bumped it up to a 4. It's not that it's not a fantastic movie, and I really enjoyed every second of it. I think there was some telegraphing, like you mentioned before, that it would have been fun to see something a bit different. But yeah, this is just one of those ones that they didn't promote it the right way.
Yeah.
And no one I know has heard of this movie. No
Yeah.
one. Like, I'll be surprised if any of our listeners have even heard of it, because I'll be talking to people at work. They're like, "What is that?" And I show them the trailer, and they're like, "Oh my God, I have to go see this."
I mean, Missy wanted to watch it, but they didn't do a screening, and so we had
Yeah.
our screeners come. But then when I was watching it, was the first half was on the treadmill, and Missy was like, "Is that Sam Rockwell?" And I think she completely forgot who was even in it, and she saw the trailer and wanted to see it.
Yeah, and
So
it's a fantastic movie. I think the only thing, if I'm we've had such great movies too this year so far. So if I'm putting this up against the Bone Temple, there's just some things in the Bone Temple that, from a filmmaking aspect and just a total package, that are slightly more polished and just barely edges over this to give it a 3.5. So
I'm at 3.5 too. I did something I never do, which is I walked into this film without having seen the trailer.
oh,
That
okay.
never happens to me. And I know
lucky
that
you.
I had a speech about the trailer a few minutes ago, but it didn't apply to me because I actually didn't watch it. So this experience was completely fresh for me. I was
Oh, man.
surprised from the start, and I stayed surprised all the way through. I didn't know what I was getting into, and I was so thrilled to be there. Sam Rockwell, I'll follow him anywhere. So I'm at 3.5 as well. Adam
3.5.
Brooks.
If I hadn't watched the trailer, I'd probably be giving it 8, but we'll go with my 4.
All right, 4 stars for Brooks. When we come back, we're going to talk about Luc Besson's Dracula. Believe me when I
Yay.
tell you, this is different. We'll be right back after a little bit of the trailer, and then Brooks will tell us the plot.
My order has been studying this for 400 years. And you're the first to have captured a specimen alive. These creatures are the result of a divine curse. What exactly did I capture? A vampire. For 400 years now, we've been looking for the source. Here you are.
He comes to find his princess.
Okay, Brooks. Luc Besson's Dracula.
Well, we get Prince Vladimir, played by Caleb Landry Jones, who I normally don't like, but for some reason love him in this. I think it's because he finally gets to sink his teeth into some campiness.
Get off the show.
Yep, barf.
Has become Dracula after his wife Elizabetta dies.
Whatever.
Whoever, Elizabeth. And 400 years later, Jonathan Harker from Paris has come to do some finances with Dracula. He's engaged to Mina. There's Mina's best friend is sick with a curse. The priest is brought in by some scientists to try to figure out what she could be sick with. And little do we know that we're going to wind up with another side character with an inexplicable American accent and gargoyle henchmen at your beck and call.
I'm not even sure what to say following that description, Brooks, because you got it right. That's what this movie is. The casting of Landry Jones, which you said you enjoyed, I absolutely did not. In fact, the cast was the first thing that jumped out at me about this film. I don't think there are any stars. I was also really bummed to see Christoph Waltz. Why couldn't this movie have had Willem Dafoe and Nosferatu have Christoph Waltz? I would have much preferred that. That would
I
have
guess
been
if you swap the performances, they'd make more sense in context.
absolutely, because Willem Dafoe's performance in Nosferatu would have been much more appropriate for this film. Much more unhinged, much more nonsensical, whereas Christoph Waltz's typical sober delivery, reliable, completely adult person in the room delivery would have been much better in Nosferatu.
It's
All right.
like he walked off of Frankenstein right into this. I mean, this came out last year in France, so
Well, this shouldn't have come out at all. And I think the minute Nosferatu hit theaters last year, they should have stopped work on this film immediately. They should have realized that there's no reason for this movie to be made. It's going to pale in comparison. It's going to be a joke up against Nosferatu. Am I making it clear, Adam, how I felt about this experience, or should I say more?
I mean, I can start it now if you want me to.
Go ahead, please.
All right. So I'm pretty sure everyone has seen the 1992 Bram Stoker's Dracula. It
Nope.
is not a masterpiece. You've never seen it?
no.
Oh, okay, you should, because it's
But
not
I
a
did,
masterpiece.
didn't I? Isn't that what this is?
Pretty much.
No, because the other one's actually a decent film. Bram Stoker's Dracula was not a good movie. It was a fun movie. It was thematic. You felt like you were in Victorian London, and you felt like Dracula was coming up next to you. Everything about that movie, though, is a masterpiece compared to this one. I don't understand why you would make a movie based on Bram Stoker's Dracula and then have to like tiptoe around people's names. Like, yeah,
Mhm.
Christoph Waltz is very obviously Van Helsing, but we just call him Priest.
I know.
Like, Jonathan Harker is the only person who has their real name in this. I mean, you've got Mina Murray.
Well, and Mina. I mean,
Yeah,
Mina's there, but Mina Murray?
yeah. It's like they did everything they could not to base this on Dracula, and then they tried to base it on Dracula. Keanu Reeves is not known as the world's greatest performer, and if you go watch Bram Stoker's Dracula, his performance is unintentionally hilarious, we'll just say. He is up for an Academy Award based off every single other person in this movie, except Christoph Waltz. Christoph Waltz holds his own.
He does.
I literally hate everything about this movie. Like, you know what's really cool about vampires and like Dracula, how he has that like, command over people and they can, bring him into his fold and make him be his wives or his thralls. That's pretty cool, right?
Yeah.
I don't care that I'm
Used to
spoiling
be.
it. I don't care at all. Guess what his magic, quote unquote, powers in this? He finds perfume. Yeah.
The Chanel #5.
Or Chanel number 666, whatever they want to call it. I don't care.
Chanel
I
15.
hated it. You go up there and he doesn't have his brides in his castle. He's got the worst absolute CGI gargoyles,
Yep.
which at the end, because, surprise, Dracula dies in a stupid way, by the way.
Yep.
And then we find out who the gargoyles were. And it's like, who are these people? They were never introduced. They were never mentioned. There is no iota of any kind of existence of these people existing and becoming gargoyles. Why are they there? Like, there is
For
no
my
point to this movie.
entertainment.
Like, Clark wouldn't watch it with me, and I was like, that's fine. So I was in there watching it. He came in within 30 seconds, and he just, like, dropped some very foul language and said, good luck, and then walked out the door.
Said, good luck, have fun, don't die.
Except
Yeah.
I wanted to die. Like, I think that would have been more appropriate. And it hurt so bad because Luc Besson, like, he did Fifth Element. I think I like Fifth Element less now because of this movie.
You're going to go back in time and punish Fifth Element because this movie's so
That's
bad.
I am.
That's like how I felt after John Wick 4. I was
Yeah.
like, do I want to get rid of all of these now?
Well, I disagree on that one, but that's a different story. But anyways, that's how I feel about this piece of crap movie, and I hope everyone involved in it was punched in the head.
Well, it does feel like Luc Besson woke up every day having had his memory wiped from the previous day's shooting because nothing connects, nothing makes any sense with what's happened before. It's all totally stream of consciousness in a way that absolutely does not work. He tries to make this a dark love story and it
This is a comedy.
flops.
Just admit it.
Well, explain that, Brooks, because you keep laughing like you enjoyed yourself, and
I did.
You need to defend it.
Not in a good way, but I'm not going to defend the movie, but I don't know. Everything about it just felt super campy and it was super dumb. And I just was like, this is the most ridiculous thing I have seen in a while. And if I was able to, I could probably double use this as today's guilty pleasure, but it's not that great. It's not good enough. I mean, like I said earlier, if I had watched it maybe over the course of a night with a glass of wine, I would have been crying from laughing so hard through most of this movie because it's just my kind of so bad it's good delirium and just so
Adam and
dumb.
I are shaking our heads right now, Brooks, because we are so mad at you. And here's the other part. Adam, when Brooks was texting us when he was watching his screen,
Well, yeah, you were getting live texts.
he was live texting us how much fun he was having. And I thought to myself, I didn't put it in there, but I thought, this is going to be a guilty pleasure for Brooks 1 year from now.
At some
Guaranteed.
point it
Oh, I
might.
can guarantee it will be, yeah.
Guaranteed this movie will come back. You talk about camp, Brooks. Camp has to start as camp. You don't get to claim
No.
camp if your movie's bad.
It can be unintentional.
No.
And it completely is in this case. Everything
That's
about
different.
it is so ham-fisted. He's taking this so you can tell he thinks he's making a good movie, and that makes it even funnier.
I agree it makes it funny in a sick sort of way, but I don't think it makes it camp. I think camp has to be intentional. Camp has to be something that you tried to do. He's trying to do something. I don't know what it is.
I still think it's a secret comedy, just like that other hot take.
Zone of
I had.
interest.
Zone
If-
of interest.
Brooks, if you give this movie 4 stars, I'm quitting everything, not just this podcast.
I'm
gonna
sure
quit
my-
job. I'm going to quit my.
That's okay. My rating will offset that. So
Well, why did you think, Brooks, that Caleb Landry Jones was good in this role?
I usually don't like him. I don't know. There's just something about him that drives me crazy, and his acting's always been horrific. I mean, see the X-Men movies as prime examples. He is just so grating and obnoxious. But I think when they got him under all of that makeup, it just, I don't know, something about it worked for once. And it just, I was like, okay, so you just have to smother him to death with every appliance on the planet to make him tolerable.
Dude, if you
So,
go to his Wikipedia page, it looks like
garbage?
he's Kid Rock at home.
Rock. Well, he kind of plays it like Kid Rock would have, I think. There's, of course, his Bram Stoker's Dracula moment where he's all dolled up with the hair and the long coat when he's in his castle as an older vampire. That was a direct link to that
Yes.
earlier movie, Adam. You're totally right about that. I almost thought it was egregious how much it was stealing from the aesthetic of that first film. Sorry, that earlier film. But Brooks, I'm surprised that you like this because there's no horror in it. There's zero.
The horror
There's-
is experiencing the movie.
I think that's why it was also even funnier to me because it's Dracula. There's one scene that has actual any kind of gore in it. There's
Yeah.
like one beheading
Yeah.
that I was like, okay, for most of the movie, I kind of couldn't figure out why it was rated R.
Not only was he not a monster, the last sequence, he has to sort of fight his way through his castle as if he was John Wick. We keep
He
referencing
was.
John Wick and Keanu Reeves, and there's a very John Wick sequence that happens at the end of the film that sticks out for all the wrong reasons.
I was very jealous that I wasn't beheaded.
It was so funny. And it comes out of nowhere. There's no setup for it whatsoever. It hadn't even happened before.
I'll tell you what we're doing right now, Brooks, in terms of setups, is we just keep setting up Adam for great one-liners. They're just falling
He's
out of him like he's a
welcome.
Pez dispenser. But let's not waste any more time talking about why this movie's bad. Let's give it a score and talk about how it's going to live on in infamy. Adam, I have a feeling that you're going to be a 0. Where are you?
Before we get there, I didn't realize this till literally just now. Apparently, there was a score for the movie that
Oh
Danny
yeah,
Elfman
I was
did.
gonna bring that up too.
It was Danny Elfman. Yep.
Yeah.
And we just recently talked about how his work on Sent Help wasn't the greatest.
No.
His work on Sent Help compared to this is basically Beethoven's Symphony No. 5 in C minor.
Very
So
true.
0. I hate this movie. I hate this movie more than Mother, and I hate the
Okay.
movie Mother. Like that. That was the last time I walked out of a movie theater that angry. That Love the Coopers and this movie are now my bottom 3
Oh, Love the
bottom
Coopers.
worst movies of all times. And Love the Coopers I hated, but it wasn't until the very last second when I'm like, oh, it's the damn dog that's the narrator, isn't it? And it was the damn dog that was the narrator, and I was like, nope.
And I had a wiener dog in it too.
Oh my god. There's nothing redeemable here. Like I wish I could view it the way Brooks did, because I would have loved to have had that experience where like it's so bad it's good, but there's nothing redeeming here. I don't care about Kid Rock at home. I don't care about the people who aren't really the characters from the novel, and then they're the characters from the movie, and then weird little white random CGI children running. No.
Well, I'm not at 0. I'm at 1. It's a nonsensical mess without a doubt. I did hate it, but I'm just going to give Christoph Waltz a star because I like him, and I wish he'd been in Nosferatu instead of Willem Dafoe. So 1 star for me. Brooks, go ahead. 5.
I would have given it a half star for Christoph Waltz, but if it wasn't for those stupid kids at the end.
I know.
I guess as far as on a guilty pleasure scale, I'd probably give it 3.5. But
What?
But like I said, I am never going to defend this movie. It is not good. It is bad in all of my right ways, and it just made me laugh from start to finish. That I wasn't there. Like as soon as it started, I texted you guys and I said that this scene literally just cut from day to night, back to day. You never know what's going to happen next.
You don't.
And Luc Besson didn't either, clearly,
No.
because he wrote and directed it. So there's no excusing him for any of this.
It's like the
And-
meme where it's like, come on, Grandpa, let's get you back to bed.
Yeah. So as far as like an actual film goes, I would have to just give it 1.
Okay. So 1 star for
Don't
Brooks.
worry.
Thank you, Brooks. 1 star for me. And Adam gives 0 stars to
0.
this incomprehensible,
I know
frankly,
when my movies are bad, no matter how much I might like it.
incompetent mess. Brooks, I'm glad you enjoyed yourself because at least one of
No
us
one else
did.
did.
All right. So Luc Besson is a director that we like. So is Gore Verbinski. They don't always make wonderful movies. Exhibit A, of course, was, thank you very much, Adam's Lone Ranger. And Exhibit B, I think, is this Dracula movie. So when we come back, we're going to do our guilty pleasures, bad movies by forgotten directors. This one could be wild. I can't wait to see what we came up with. We'll take a short break and be right back. Welcome back to episode 49 of Big Movie Mouth Off. I'm Jeff Counts.
I'm Brooks Bird.
And I'm Adam McDonald.
Guilty Pleasures, Forgotten Directors Edition. I'm going to go first. This director that I'm about to mention, we have referenced on the show many times in the past for many different reasons. I'm talking about Nicholas Winding Refn, who gave us Drive and then gave us Only God Forgives, which I said in the past is a movie that not even God can forgive.
Yeah.
Really bad. And he really hasn't done much since. He did Neon Demon in 2016, and which did not do very well. And not much in the last decade. He's been pretty quiet. So when I say he's forgotten, I really do mean it. There's just not a lot happening right now. But there's a film of his pre-Drive around the same time as he was doing the Pusher trilogy with Mads Mikkelsen called Valhalla Rising, 2009. I love this film. I think it's good. I don't think it's bad. So the guilty part is because I just think it went under the radar and nobody ever paid any attention to it. Not even Drive was able to make people go back into his catalog and watch it. Except for me, that's exactly why I did, because I love Mads Mikkelsen and I love to Drive so much. So mine is 2009, Mads Mikkelsen starring Valhalla Rising. It's so weird. It's very Nicholas Winding Refn before he started to get high on his own supply,
Get full
as
of
they
himself.
say. Yeah, exactly. So Adam, what's your guilty pleasure?
So I'm going to say a name, and you all will know who it is, but I think a lot of people won't until I start listing some of the movies. So if I were to say Joe Dante,
You stole mine.
did I?
Yep. He has such a register.
Well, maybe I picked a different movie than you because we got he did Piranha, Inner Space. We probably most well know him for Gremlins. However, I went with 1989's The Burbs.
See, I wasn't going to pick one movie. I was just going to pick him.
Oh, okay. Well, I picked The Burbs.
So.
It's one of those ones that we randomly rented from, I think, Albertsons back when I was a kid because we didn't have a Blockbuster.
It's one of the best 80s movies ever.
Yeah, it's Tom. And I don't think it's a bad movie. I think it's a movie people don't know about. So it's Tom Hanks.
Again.
Yeah, Carrie Fisher. They live in the suburbs, just somewhat kind of dysfunctional, weird family. Bruce Dern's one of his neighbors. I can't remember the other guy's name, but this new family moves in to the creepy house in the neighborhood, and they begin to wonder, are these people just kind of strange, or are they serial killing Satanists? And as you can imagine, lots of crazy stuff happens.
That movie has a scene that I quote all the time.
It came with the frame.
It's
It
not
came
that
with the
one.
frame.
It's not that one. It's the one where I can't remember who it is, but somebody's plugging their ears because they don't want to hear what's happening because they're talking about the Satanists. And he's saying, I'm not going to listen to you. And the other guy says, well, look, he's chanting. And he starts to say what he hears, which is, I want to kill everyone. Satan is good.
Satan
is my
is your
pal.
friend. Yeah, our pal, yeah.
I love that movie. Well chosen. And it's so good to have somebody steal from Brooks, who has stolen from me so many times on this show. So finally, Brooks, you get your comeuppance. Why did you pick Dante?
Like I was saying earlier, just has a running list of everything. There's Piranha, The Howling. He directed a segment from The Twilight Zone. Gremlins, Explorers, Inner Space, The Burbs, Gremlins 2, Matinee, Small Soldiers, Looney Tunes Back in Action. The man he gets me. And no matter how crazy his movies are, they were always so solid. I mean, Piranha itself, even back in 1978, just so good.
Well, he
People
should
just
not
need
be
to watch
forgotten.
all of his movies. And
Yeah,
I wish he was coming back for Gremlins 3, but I have heard Chris Columbus is returning to write and direct. So we'll see how that goes.
Chris Columbus can go either way.
Yeah.
He can go either way. All right, so Brooks, no specific film, but your director was?
Joe Dante.
And Adam?
His 1989 film, The Burbs.
And I was Valhalla Rising, 2009, by the director Nicholas Winding Refn. Okay, coming attractions. Brooks, why don't you go first?
All right, well, I know how much you love my weird movie titles. So I am going with Jorma Taccone's new upcoming bickering couple movie, Over Your Dead Body.
Great name.
Starring Jason Segel, Samara Weaving, Timothy Olyphant, Juliette Lewis. It's a remake of a Tommy Wirkola movie called The Trip, and it's just about a couple who go on vacation and learn that they both had plans to kill each other.
Oh.
Unbeknownst to each other. And then some more things come up, some people intrude upon their weekend, and things just get even crazier from there. And the original also had Noomi Rapace. So
When does it come out?
it is supposed to be April 24th.
Adam, what are you looking forward to?
So we're staying with video games as we kind of do over here. So there was a little game a couple years ago called Until Dawn. It was by Supermassive Games. Actually, Brooks, this is one you should play. It is a bunch of teenagers go to a house in the woods and start getting stalked by a serial killer. But what was cool was that every choice you make in the game changes the game.
Oh, I think you told me about this.
Yeah, the goal is to get to morning with everyone alive, and that could happen. They may not happen. So they made a bunch of them since then, but their new one coming out in May is called Directive 8020. And this is a story about Earth is dying. So a bunch of scientists and astronauts travel 12 light years away to this planet to try to find whatever they need to fix Earth. Well, they crash land, and now there's an alien that is hunting them down, and the alien, it kind of like in It Follows, it turns into being whatever it wants to trick you to think it's something else. So again, it's one of those things where every decision changes the game. This one, there's a thing called turning points where you can go back and kind of undo or change things, so you can kind of see how other things play out. It's kind of known for having the series having a lot of like up and coming actors who kind of get their name started here. Not too many in this one, although we do have the main character is played by Lashana Lynch, who we know was from the Marvels and Captain Marvel. She played Maria Rambeau. So we've had some experience with her, but Supermassive Games has kind of gone up and down. Like, there's like Man of Medan and Until Dawn was great. The Quarry was okay. Then Someone's in the Middle kind of fell flat. So I'm hoping this one will go back to where they were and apparently be a lot better than that Sony movie that came out last year that no one saw.
All right. Well, my coming attraction is a television show. So we're getting a little bit of everything: a movie, a video game, a television show. And as we record, I think it starts like in 2 days. So by the time this airs, it will have already happened. So not so much a coming attraction, but something that I am excited to dig back into. I don't know if you guys watched the first season of the show Paradise with Sterling K. Brown. It's so good. And you honestly can't say anything about it. Now, if you watch the trailer for season 2, it tells you all of the secrets of season 1. But if you haven't seen season 1, do not let anyone show you the trailer for season 2 and watch it. It's a really interesting show. And I have to be honest, the way the first season ended, I wasn't really sure how they were going to go anyplace interesting with it. It seemed like it was headed to a place that I've seen a lot of before. So I'm not nervous about it. But I'm also excited because I think the cast is great and the first season was so much fun. It was a difficult thing to stick the landing on, and they did. So my coming attraction is season 2 starting imminently of the show Paradise. Yours again, Adam?
Directive 8020.
Video game by Massive Games,
Supermassive Games.
Supermassive Games.
Yes.
And Brooks, your film was?
Over Your Dead Body.
You ever notice, Adam, that most of Brooks's coming attraction sounds like movies he made up in his head?
Yes. Like,
isn't that great?
Good Boy or
the greatest thing ever.
Dust Bunny.
It is the greatest thing ever. All right. Well, that's episode 49 in the books. When we come back, it'll be episode 50. And in true Big Movie Mouth-Off fashion, I'm not sure yet what the special thing we're going to do for that episode is. These two guys might be just as surprised as all of you. But when we come back, it's going to be a milestone, and I'm really proud of us for that. Until next time, I'm Jeff Counts.
I'm Brooks Bird.
And I'm Adam McDonald.
Thank you for being with us. Big Movie Mouth Off was produced and edited by me, Jeff Counts, and co-hosted by Adam McDonald and Brooks Bird. Our theme music is written by Brian Z. Richards, and this show is dedicated to the memory of our founders, Jeff Michael Weiss, and my partner in crime for over 5 years, the incomparable Jimmy Martin.